Many of us on this committee are deeply concerned about how we move Turkey and Armenia to resolve the outstanding issues, including the opening of the border in the Nagorno-Karabakh, obviously the events of 1915 and so forth. How would you assess the progress made in the recent diplomatic initiatives beyond the soccer initiative, but how would you assess that?
Sir, looking back at where I was when I was last in Turkey from 1999 to 2002, we've seen considerable, albeit not yet sufficient, progress. For example, a few years ago, the Turks began issuing essentially immediate 90-day visas for Armenians traveling to Turkey. There are some 70,000 Armenians living and working in Turkey today. There are weekly commercial flights between Yerevan and Istanbul. There are contract flights between Yerevan and Antalya during the summer. During the Georgian crisis, the Turks opened up the airspace between the two countries, and there's about $60 to $120 million in annual trade between the two. There are also beyond the fairly dramatic events of the last months there with President Gül's trip, there are also diplomatic exchanges at various levels. The Armenians have a diplomat in the Black Sea Cooperation Council in Istanbul, and there have been a variety of talks at other levels. However, we have not achieved yet what we need, which is, as I said, the establishment of diplomatic relations and the opening of the border.
Now, let me go to one of the sort of tricky questions there. I'm not trying to, literally not trying to, trip you up or anything. I'm just trying to get the record as clear as we can going forward. At a House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing on June 18th, 2008, Assistant Secretary of State Dan Fried stated, quote, that brutality against the Armenians starting in 1915 was, quote, extraordinarily well documented, and that the assessment of former ambassador of the Ottoman Empire, Henry Morgenthau, who documented the Armenian genocide, was, quote, accurate. That is, there is no question the intent was not to remove people in a peaceful way. In a letter dated this year, July 29, Assistant Secretary of Alleged Affairs Matt Reynolds wrote to Chairman Biden saying, quote, our goal in bringing archivists from Turkey and Armenia to the United States for training is not to open a debate on whether the Ottomans committed these horrendous acts. It's to help preserve the documentation that supports the truth of those events. Reynolds further added, quote, the administration recognizes that the mass killings, ethnic cleansing, and forced deportation of over 1.5 million Armenians were conducted by the Ottoman Empire. We indeed hold Ottoman officials responsible for those crimes. That is the administration's position. Based on those statements, and I'm not going to go into the historical details, but based on those statements, can you assure the committee that the administration is not supporting rhetorically, financially, or otherwise an effort to convene a commission to settle an historical debate that in effect is not a debate?
Mr. Chairman, as you've indicated, the administration recognizes and mourns and is very, very, very concerned about the historical facts, which include, as you said, the mass killing and the forced exile of up to 1.5 million Armenians at the end of the Ottoman Empire. We support, as President Bush made clear in his recent statement on March 24th, the open effort by both sides to get to the bottom of the historical facts and to move forward as part of a reconciliation process, both to establish closer and eventually full relations and to work out these dark chapters in the past.
So do I interpret that as, are you in fact going farther than Assistant Secretary for Alleged Affairs Reynolds did? I mean, you in effect saying that we are supportive of the historical commission itself and its goal, or are we supportive of simply maintaining the historical records?
We are supportive of anything that the two sides mutually agree on, sir, And as part of any process, we think that there should be a full and open review of the events of that time.
Providing it's mutually agreed